using my office there, or because I couldn't do it in, we have these newfangled open space offices where everybody is at these little tables and center of the room and everybody gets to see everybody's
So
computer.
I just want to say on a technical matter, I
Hmm.
try my my technical inefficiency. I tried to change my slide around our troops and it just made a mess of it, so I put it back where it
Oh,
was.
oh, good. Okay.
But
At least you could
it
do that.
doesn't represent what I'm actually going to say very much. So
That's fine as long as it's just like not a mess.
it's
That's
not a
better.
mess.
Good.
I Yeah, I couldn't make the bullet points come up. Every time I tried to click on anything, it just made things shrink. I don't know. I have a very strange relationship with tech, but
All is well.
so some people are in the waiting room and some people are just landing in here.
No, no, no. I'm putting people in the waiting room.
Yeah,
Oh, I
as they
see.
come in.
Yeah,
There you
It's a
go.
manual process.
it doesn't have to be, but coming to the table likes to talk before they do things. So I
Of
don't put the
course.
waiting room on, but I like a waiting room.
You
Yeah.
can do a waiting room.
I'm gonna.
I, yeah, you could do that. I don't particularly like the waiting rooms because you have to remember to let people in. And so that's why I don't do it. But, if you've got a
Mosquitoes.
process going on, that's amazing. That's a wonderful thing.
Okay,
Okay,
I
we're
have
just gonna
time
do
to
a
go
quick
run and
share.
get screen.
Can
Go
you see
ahead.
this okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and then let me see. Can you see this okay?
I see a
Well,
picture of Marion. Is that
Okay,
yeah.
that's good. Do you hear?
Okay.
yes?
Hi,
Yes, we can.
Allison. How are you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, hold on.
To play. There's a lot of conversation
Skip
these
this
days
spot.
that the bystander has the most impact on how something ends. So when you see a conflict going on, it's the
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Okay,
Yep.
hold on. Let me just get to the right spot.
most. We're just getting
And pause it and keep it there.
How are you?
Sorry.
Oh my Lord.
I
Why?
know it's like I had it right where I
Yeah.
needed it. Oh gosh.
And
Oh, there's
I'm
Linda
on.
Davis. Linda, are you
Going
here?
on. It's the people watching from the sides
Okay,
that
I'm just gonna let
actually
it
have the
play.
most effect. All right, and scene starts.
All right.
House
Good.
and
So, Giovanni, when you're ready, I will bring up the share and then we will run it.
yeah, yeah. But like, why are these people
I'm
on the
so
road
glad that
right
you all are
now?
talking and not me and my nose today. So Linda's gonna, I'll introduce everybody, not introduce, but I will welcome everybody. You all can introduce yourselves. I will welcome the people. I will, uh, the next
You
thing is
will be
actually November 12th. So I'm gonna say something about that, but,
okay.
and then I will turn it over to Linda, who will do a brief
Yeah.
meditation, our mindfulness moment, and then Linda can turn it over to you all.
Okay. Great. And we got it all planned. It's great. It's gonna be
This is
amazing.
going to be great.
Yeah,
Or
as
it won't,
long
and we'll get feedback
and
and it'll be great next time.
it'll be next exactly because God is still in the heavens. Either way, all is well.
People have actually asked me if there's going to be additional trainings in the Touchstones because they can't make it tonight. So just know that
Okay.
it's already
Okay.
wanted. I'm Sharon. Hi, I'm Giovanni Washington. We've never met. It's nice to meet you.
So we've met. We met in Culver City. Didn't you
Oh,
join?
I mean, hey, good to see you again.
You can't, she looks like a movie star now. So
Yeah.
like,
No, it's
She's
like
got
Yeah, all
she's got
glam.
a
lipstick is Clark Kent's glasses. It's just lipstick.
Here, we'll put
I
on
know, I
the.
don't mean it to sound, Sharon, that you're like,
it's
that
a
the
good
default
thing.
doesn't look as gorgeous. Like you're always gorgeous. I just want to like
It's the
point that
whole
out.
package. It's not just the
Yeah,
lipstick,
but
it's
I'm
the
just
whole
saying, like,
package.
you,
Are you all ready for me to let people in?
You let people in.
yes,
Okay,
let's do it.
they're letting them all
We're
in.
we're ready. We're ready. Ready? Like Freddie going around the
We had
corner
about
and beeping.
125 people sign up. So
That's fantastic.
yeah.
You know, if we get 50 people, that's fantastic. But if we get 100, oh my, that's astounding.
Okay. We have let the people in. Welcome, everyone. We will get started in a few minutes.
Just a few.
Some housekeeping to take care of immediately is until the Q&A or the breakout sessions, please do keep yourself on mute. You will have an
Yeah.
opportunity to connect with your folks in small group a little bit later. If you want to put into the
Moved.
chat where you're calling in from today, that would be wonderful. It's good to see folks.
Hmm.
I put where we coming in from.
Yeah, put your calling in from your city, state, county, country.
Hmm.
All right. And I think it was not even 4 o'clock yet. So we'll wait another minute. Y'all can.
Yeah. Well, wait. Yes, let's wait at least another
I know
minute.
that Ella
That'll
likes to
give me.
say hey to everybody. So Ella, come on in and say hello, greet the people.
Okay.
I don't know where she went. I saw her, but now for some reason,
Hello, people.
Okay. Greet the people.
there's
Hi,
Ella.
All
Ella.
right, here we go. Yummy, yummy, yummy.
Hello.
Hello. Or should I say hugga mugga? Okay, I'm signing off now.
Hey.
All right. I was looking for something. Let's see.
Oh, another Marion in the house. Spelled the same way.
All right.
Do you have is just out of curiosity, Dr. Giovanni, do you have there's a count, the Zoom does it. What does the count look like? Because that'll let us know
There's the
how
40 people. People are coming in still. 40 people.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but it's literally 4 o'clock on the dot right now.
I know.
I did.
Are we more concerned about starting right on the dot or getting the quorum in? We have quorum, I guess, but you know.
I would wait like one more minute,
Yeah, let's do that.
and then we
Let's do that.
can it's good to see people. Hi, everybody.
Here.
Welcome. Thanks for coming. We appreciate you taking your good time out of today. This is I've been meeting quite frequently, it feels like, with the local group leaders. So this is the first time where we've just opened it up to national for Year of Liberation. So it's wonderful to see some new faces. If I haven't met
Mm,
you, I look forward to meeting you. Nice to meet you. This is our first training of the Year of Liberation. This is going to be the Touchstone training. It is being put on by the Pasadena group, who will introduce themselves in just a moment. We're going to have a circle process
I
training
don't
by
want to
some of
be
our
seen.
East Coast groups in
Can you
next
see it?
year. If you are not on mute, please mute yourself and remain muted until we get into our breakout groups or our question and answer session a little bit later. Later this month, we've got a couple of office hours. I'm going to send out a weekly or bi-weekly sort of upcoming events email so that you all are always apprised of what's happening with the Year of Liberation. So 2 weeks from now, and then 2 weeks after that, we've got some office hours where you can come and ask all your questions about the Freedom Walk 2026 when we are going to retrace the Underground Railroad, or a portion of the Underground Railroad with Tony Cohen, who is a coming to the table member from Montgomery County, Maryland. And the Freedom Walk is one part of the Coming to the Table's 20th anniversary celebration. So if you have questions about the Year of Liberation or the curriculum or the walk, you can come to our office hours, or some people came last night just to hang out and just be in the spirit, which was beautiful. I think that might be all I have to say at this moment. So please do, Valencia, can I encourage the folks to use the chat for questions, or do you want them to hold? Okay, please do use the chat function for your questions. Valencia, one of our Pasadena members, is going to be monitoring the chat, and when we get to the Q&A, she will moderate that for you all. And I'm going to turn it over to Linda Davis, who is one of our mindfulness group members, and she's going to lead us through a brief centering moment, and then she will turn it over to Pasadena, and we'll get started. And Wilson, so you know there are 55 people currently in the room. Well, 54, because my Fathom is also in here.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, Dr. Giovanni, and thank you all. Thanks for coming. This will be a mindfulness moment, and maybe just a couple minutes. So, and Viktor Frankl said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and freedom. We can fill that space with fight, flight, freeze, fawn, or annihilate, or with Resmaa Menakem's 5 anchors, which spell out the word SNAPS. And SNAPS stands for soothe, notice, accept, present, and safely discharge. I'm going to invite you to briefly practice the 5 anchors now. You can use one or all 5 anchors or other anchors anytime you need them, including in our coming to the table discussions. SNAPS is simply a way to remember the 5 anchors. So now I invite you to find a way to soothe and resource yourself, to quiet your mind, calm your heart, and settle your body. This could mean taking a few deep breaths and settling into your body. Let's take a few deep breaths together now. Next, I invite you to simply notice and discern the bodily sensations and/or vibrations, your emotions, and your thoughts, instead of reacting to them. Just notice any sensations, emotions, and thoughts. Now I invite you to accept any discomfort instead of trying to flee from it. When you experience an urge to tamp down or push away the discomfort, try not to. Keep your attention focused directly on it. Stay with it. When you get the impulse to analyze or think about the discomfort, bring yourself back to the discomfort itself. When your mind spits out strategies for what to do next, don't grab onto them. Just stay with the discomfort. When thoughts or images about the past or future pop up, let them float past you. Stay in your body. While you're staying in your body, I invite you to stay present and in your body as you move through the unfolding experience of this evening with all its ambiguity and uncertainty, and respond from the best parts of yourself. And finally, I invite you to safely discharge or metabolize any energy that remains. You can let your body be the guide about how it wants to move and discharge the energy. You can stand up, shake your legs and arms. And lastly, we can all give ourselves some snaps and come back to the room. Thank you. And now I'll turn it over to the Pasadena group for the Touchstones training. Thank you.
Hey, all right. Give me one moment here. Valencia, are you ready to share your screen?
Let me know if you can see it.
I can.
That's
I
the
can see it.
video.
All right, we're live. Oh, you see
Okay,
the video?
great.
You don't see the
It's the
presentation?
video.
That's
No,
okay.
it's the
We
video.
can see the screen. I don't see the presentation though. Can everybody see me? This is
Okay, can you
Wilson
see the
Bell.
presentation now?
Let me just
Yes.
do this
Yeah,
for
we can
you
see the
all so that
presentation.
my name is here. This is my work computer, but I raced here to get here so that I could be home with you all. Okay, welcome. And you're going to hear some things over and over and over again. That's great because repetition is how we all humanly remember. And that's really important. So today we're talking about practicing the touchstones of coming or at coming to the table and creating and holding space at the table, presented by us, the Pasadena steering committee. We have a steering committee that helps to guide and lead our our chapter. There are a number of us. We'll get an introductory slide coming up pretty soon. Next slide, please. Okay. Today, our objectives are to deepen understanding and applications of the touchstones, explore the connection to the coming to the table touchstones four pillars. Some of us may not even know that we have four pillars on which our organization is grounded or founded upon. And so we'll discuss that briefly as we talk about the touchstones and practice using them through discussion and reflection. That is our objective today. Here we are with the introduction. I'm Wilson Bell, one of the members. I live in Van Nuys, California. Quickly, just your name and where you come from. The rest of you introduce yourself. Let's start with you, Valencia.
Hey, hi, I'm Valencia. My pronouns are she, her. I am the person pictured holding the wrangling baby in the photo. I live in Long Beach with my husband and my two children. You see them pictured there.
Hi, I'm Sharon Kyle. I'm just to the left of Valencia, and my husband Dick is standing behind me.
Hi, I'm Marion Tango. I live in Pasadena. I'm from the East Coast. I'm the white woman in the picture.
There you go.
And not with us today is our beloved Renee. And so she is on the right. And that's a better picture of me actually standing with Renee. So look at that one. Don't look at the other one. Back to you, Wilson.
Okay. Let me unpin myself so I can see. There we go.
Okay, I can.
Hold on, let me. Oh, that is you. Go ahead, Sharon.
Yeah. So what are the touchstones? Welcome, everyone. My name is Sharon Kyle. I've already introduced myself. And before we talk about the touchstone, I just wanted to briefly remind everyone that coming to the table, the word table is an acronym and it stands for Taking America Beyond the Legacy of Enslavement. I'm sure most of you already know that, but I often have to remind myself because we call it TTT, CTTT, or coming to the table. And I forget what we're doing is we're working to move beyond the legacy of enslavement. And one of the things that's so fantastic about the touchstones is, you know, we live in a country, the United States, that has committed a lot of atrocities to people of color and to people who were enslaved and the descendants of the enslaved. Other nations like Germany had the Nuremberg trials and after the Holocaust, and South Africa had the Truth and Reconciliation Commission after apartheid, and Rwanda had pursued national reconciliation after genocide. But in the United States, after centuries of slavery, Jim Crow, lynching, segregation, and so on, there's never been a comparable process of truth-telling, accountability, or repair. And that's why coming to the table is so important to us. And the touchstones are an important guide. Because the government failed to do its part, coming to the table touchstones are powerful. They offer communities a practical framework for engaging across lines of race and history. In short, the touchstones are a shared compass. They are not mandatory, they're optional, and they don't dictate the outcome of the conversation, but they provide the conditions necessary for participants to engage in deeply vulnerable, respectful ways in collective work of healing wounds of slavery. So what are the touchstones? Agreements that support intentional dialogue, used to guide deep conversation in CTTT, and they create safety, courage, and deep listening. Next slide, please, Valencia. So what we've done is, first of all, there are 14 touchstones for those of you who don't use the touchstones. And we've created, well, Valencia, let's be honest here, Valencia created a QR code, which if you would like to take your phone, you can scan the QR code to gain access to the touchstones. We just put this little eye chart up here, which shows you the length of the touchstones. It's not a lengthy document. There are 14 touchstones. And now we're going to be going into each of the touchstones. Our group in Pasadena, we begin each of our monthly meetings by reading these touchstones. And we do it popcorn style. We go around the room, whether we're doing a virtual meeting or a in-person meeting, we each take a turn reading the touchstone. So I'm going to start, and if I could have the next slide. So I've already told you that the touchstones are a set of mutually agreed upon principles. And what we ask for people to do is, beginning with the first three, is to be 100% present, extending and presuming welcome. Set aside the usual distractions of things undone, things to do. We ask that people bring all of yourself to the experience. We all learn most effectively in welcoming spaces, and we welcome others here and presume that you are welcomed. The second touchstone is listen deeply. Listen intently to what is said. Listen to the feelings beneath the words. To listen another's soul into life, into a condition of disclosure and discovery, may be almost the greatest service that any human being ever performs for another. Douglas Steere. Listen to yourself also. Strive to achieve a balance between listening and reflecting, speaking and acting. The third touchstone is try it on. Make an opening for new ideas by trying them on for size. Give yourself the time to get to know them, to consider how they fit you. Next slide.
Marion.
Great. Next slide, please.
I'm sorry.
My
Then
internet
this is
froze.
wait. Yeah, it is you.
Yeah,
Can you see it? Okay.
I can see. Thank you. So number 4, always by invitation. It is never share or die. You will be invited to share in pairs, small groups, and in the large group. The invitation is exactly that. You will determine the extent to which you want to participate in our discussions or activities. 5, no fixing. Each of us is here to discover his or her own truths. We are not here to set someone else straight or to help right another's wrong, to fix or correct what we perceive as broken or incorrect in another member of the group. Identify assumptions, suspend judgments. Our assumptions, although usually invisible to us, often undergird our worldview. Our judgments, frequently automatic, can block our growth. By pausing to identify assumptions and suspend judgments to the degree possible or reasonable, we can listen to the other and to ourselves more fully. Speak your truth. Say what is in your heart, trusting that your voice will be heard and your contribution respected, even if it is different from or even opposite of what another has said. Own your truth by speaking only for yourself using I statements.
The next one, be aware of and allow for the difference between intention and impact. Give yourself and others the grace of assuming that no one present intends to harm others, while also being ready to acknowledge that words or behaviors or actions, nonverbal communication, can have a harmful impact. Whenever possible, acknowledge uncomfortable responses. Say ouch or whoops, then explain. Let others know when you are responding with pain to remarks in the group, either from others, ouch, or yourself, whoops, especially when your feelings are impeding your ability to stay connected to others. Help them understand the reason for your reaction. Respect silence. Silence is a rare gift. After someone has spoken, take time to reflect and fully listen, without immediately filling the space with words. Maintain confidentiality. Create a safe space by respecting the confidential nature and content of discussions in the circle. What is said in the circle remains here.
Respect difference. Recognize that different cultures have different norms for speaking in groups, such as interrupting or degrees of assertiveness. There may be differences regarding power dynamics. Overemphasis on norms of politeness and safety, for example, can be an unconscious way to reinforce white fragility and prevent expressions of anger. When things get difficult, turn to wonder. Try both and rather than either or. When someone else's truth challenges your own, try turning to wonder. I wonder what brought her to this place. I wonder what my reaction teaches me. Also, allow for the possibility of multiple experiences and perspectives. Let both and create a larger shared space. Expect non closure. Stay in the present. We probably won't get to the end of the road today. Remember that coming to the table is the first step. Staying at the table, staying conscious and committed is the key to racial healing and transformation.
Okay, thank you, Wilson. So
Thank you all.
before we transition over to the pillars, I just wanted to take a breath and just say, like, what you just experienced is how we start all of our meetings. And so what we do is we use the touchstones to open the meeting, and then we follow with announcements, and then kind of tee up our run a show for our meetings, and then we'll get into circle process. We wanted to take a moment to talk about the four pillars and tether them to how they show up in our meetings and also how they tether to the touchstones. And so I thought I could go through each of the four pillars, uncovering history, making connections, healing wounds, and taking action, and sort of how the touchstones help us with that. So in every meeting, what we do at the top, it's an open invitation. We invite all of our members to share a family story. And so when we send out what we call the letter every month, we'll send out a note. It kind of starts off with how we're talking about, like what we're talking about or things that might happen. We talk to the community because we recognize that some people may be reading our letters but not coming to the meetings. And so it's a way to connect with folks. And we invite them to share a family story or a piece of history that is spoken to them. And we try to use that storytelling to help our members uncover their own history, but also understand how it's showing up for them, whether they're a descendant of an enslaved person or someone who has enslaved others. When we're doing that sharing, we're hoping to make connections, not only for that individual who is sharing what their family member is or whatever genealogy that they're uncovering, but also to help with making connections between each other in our community. We do find that storytelling helps folks come out of their head and sink into their hearts and be in relationship with one another. We also find that storytelling allows us to heal wounds, either to create more pathways for folks to understand who they are by understanding who their family members are. But then depending on what somebody's experience is, that storytelling also allows them to heal their own wounds or heal the wounds that are left by our history of enslavement. We understand, and sometimes we have to remind our members that the talking or being in circle is actually the hard work, is actually the healing. And while the fourth pillar, taking action, is important, and I feel like this year we're really invited to take more action, to get out, to be in community with each other. But we realize that sometimes people really want to skip over the talking and the connecting and the uncovering history and jump right to activism, which is certainly important. But we want to make sure that folks understand that being in circle, being in community, sharing stories, witnessing other stories is critical for us to heal each other and our country. So by way of connecting and tethering all of these four pillars, the touchstones allow us to create a space where all of these can be possible in every meeting. Okay, so I think let me just go ahead. I'm going to drop a link in the chat if you want to learn more about the four pillars. This link goes to the national website that has information. So in addition to the examples that I spoke with you about the four pillars, the touchstones support the four pillars by allowing us to promote honesty and giving us an opportunity to build trust in the circle. we would not be able to share as deeply or be as vulnerable in our circle if it wasn't for the touchstones and the trust that we're able to build and the emotional safety. So while we're all human and, being in circle doesn't make us less human. So oftentimes we might have people may say some things that may create, that record scratch moment or a disturbance in the force where we do have to leverage ouch and whoops to repair that. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little while. But what the touchstones do is it gives us a framework to create that safe space and to maintain and enforce that safe space and encourage accountability for how we might take action to either respond to something that's coming up to the circle or how we're relating to one another. So I hand it over to Marion to touch on ouch and whoops a little bit more.
Thanks, Valencia. Yeah, so we're going to focus more closely on this one touchstone. It deserves a closer look because it's a powerful tool and possibly the hardest to actually use. Ouch, whoops. Our group made a video presentation class about ouch, whoops for the online national gathering. We're going to show you a clip of that in a little bit. And we've also processed a lot together as a steering committee to understand how to use it. And we're still learning. It's worth it, I think. But it's powerful. So it does take care. So the idea is if something is said in a meeting or exchange that feels problematic in some way, you can say ouch and explain. Or if you say something and realize afterwards that it may have caused harm, you say whoops and apologize or check in with the group. So we assume everybody who comes to a meeting, we assume goodwill, that nobody's coming here to cause harm. So often it's a case of intent versus impact. I didn't mean to say that is often the response when someone says, ouch. Well, I didn't mean that. Well, exactly. This often is about things we don't know, about cultural sensitivities, about people's personal experiences that we're not going to know. We don't know what we don't know. And white people in particular are often really afraid to talk in mixed spaces or to Black people because it feels like a minefield, is how it's described. I don't know what I'm going to say that's going to upset someone, and I don't want to be bad or wrong. But we really encourage people to lean into these conversations, to go deeper. But it does take practice. It takes intention and a willingness to be vulnerable. So the reason to use it brings conscious awareness to the whole group. So we're all on the same page. We can have a conversation about what the ouch is and read the room. I would say the most valuable thing is it repairs harm that would otherwise get suppressed. People leave meetings all the time and they don't tell you why. They just leave. It's not safe. It's not comfortable. I don't want to deal with these people who don't know what they're talking about. Using ouch, oops, getting in front of that and saying, this is happening and we want to talk about it, creates a safety that makes people want to keep coming back. It also creates authentic connection and intimacy. We're not just, again, white people, I think, are used to being told, oh, yeah, that's lovely. Yeah. We don't get challenged. And so we don't really know when we're stepping all over somebody's feet. So this allows a deeper authenticity and intimacy. And as Valencia said, it builds safety and trust. You can do the next slide. So it's pretty much guaranteed that when you're going to raise an ouch or hear that you've ouched someone, it's going to trigger a trauma response. I can pretty much guarantee it. And So that's the main thing we want to work with when we're trying to prepare ourselves to be in these kinds of conversations. How do I navigate the flush of heat or the nausea or the desire to run away or attack? Like, how do I handle that? I want to say, first of all, another thing that, well, there's a whole list of things why I don't say the ouch, and maybe we'll go to the next slide for that. It's not mine to tell. That's one of the first ones. And I'm speaking specifically to white people on this because we've been raised, a lot of us, to not call out other people, to not shame somebody. That's what we would consider it. So we just say, oh, I'll talk to them later, maybe. But this is about community. This is about being in transparency together. So we don't want to hide it. We don't want to do it secretly in a hidden room. We want to bring it out, but we want to do it with kindness and love. We're not trying to lambaste somebody and tell them, oh, look, you did something wrong. So it doesn't have to be my ouch for me to speak up. If there's something that's being said in the room and I go, oh, what was that? I may not even really know what the issue is, but it just feels wrong in my body, like I'm having a reaction. I can say that. I can say, can we pause here? I'm feeling an ouch and I'm not sure why, but I'd like to just give some space for us to have a conversation about what just got said. So anybody can name it. It doesn't have to be something directed at you specifically. But I'll tell you, I want to share a quick story that the first time I really realized that the necessity for it, we had a group of students coming to audit our group, and there were some Asian exchange students there. And one of our longtime members we were doing an opening share, a minute or so, and she started talking about her Oriental friends. And as soon as she said that, I kind of clenched and I was like, ooh. And I then all of a sudden, my head had this list of, oh, maybe no one heard it. Maybe it's not that big a deal. I don't want to interrupt the meeting. I don't want to make a big deal out of it at the beginning. I don't want to call her out in front of this whole room of people. There were like 50 people in the room. Like I had this whole list of not here, not now. So I didn't say a thing. Well, the Asian group never came back, went and spoke to their teacher, said that this was a horrible group and that we didn't walk our talk. And it was devastating. And it really brought home, nobody came to me directly and said, you should have said something. I mean, it came through this chain of people we may never have known. But the impact was that people did not feel safe and they did not come back. So, I kicked myself for not taking advantage of that moment. And again, it's not about making someone feel bad. It's just about acknowledging something that may be causing harm inadvertently in the space. So I statements is important because one of our other touchstones is no fixing. And sometimes an ouch can sound like, I'm going to tell you what's wrong with you. And this is how you should do it. But if you stick to I statements, even if it's not directed at you, that you're saying, I feel uncomfortable and I want to explore this. Like, what is it in our culture that says, this is good or not good? Like, it's not about attacking anybody's person or even their beliefs. It's about opening the conversation. And I would say one of the most important things that we've learned over these years of working with this, it's never too late. So an ouch, somebody says something and you're just frozen. You're shocked. You don't know what to say or do. It's okay. You can bring it up at the next meeting. You can bring it up with the leadership after the meeting. You can process what you want to say before you bring it up. So it doesn't have to be this kind of trigger, like, oh, I got to get it right now, like catching your pet doing something it shouldn't. You got to fix it right away or they're going to do it again. This is a process. So, even noticing, oh, that felt off. Like, I need to sit with that. I need to have a conversation with some people and see why I feel this way. And then I'm going to bring it to the group. So that's just the person being bold enough to speak the ouch. It's even harder, I would say, to receive an ouch, to be the person that the attention is focused on, because you get flooded with, I'm a bad person, I did something wrong, everybody hates me, I don't deserve to be here. Like all that fear and grief and trauma gets stirred up. And I'm learning with other people that are not part of this community to not even use ouch oops as a way of starting the conversation, because it already creates this kind of defense. But all I can say, and we're going to talk about it a little more with Valencia, it needs very tender care. Like the person receiving the ouch is going to be in stunned in some form or other, unless they're used to it. And so if you want to show the next slide, Valencia.
Yeah, and there's a question in the chat that Sue raised, which is a good one. She said, Marian, what do you wish you had said when you heard someone use the word Oriental? And one of the things that came up for me is oftentimes when we're in circle, especially with new members, they might not use the word enslaved or enslaver. They may use a different word. And so with any comment that maybe is using language that either is not preferred or is outdated or may be causing harm. So one of the things that we often do is just say, when the timing is when we can kind of get a word in around the circle, we might say, just a reminder, we use enslaver. Or, I heard the word Oriental. I just want folks to be aware that here we use blah, blah, blah. So, Marion, anything that you would say with that experience in particular, what you wish you would have said or that someone would have said there?
That's exactly right. And I've done that with when people say slave or slave master. Like I'll say it at the end of the intros and just say, a reminder, these are the words we prefer using. I think with that one, I would have paused and said, Oriental is considered a problematic term in most Asian cultures now, because she immediately said, my friend who's Oriental says it's fine. So that's often the answer that a white person gives to using a word that's considered a slur. But anything, just stopping at the end of the sharing, or even just at the end of her share, to just say, Oriental is not an acceptable term now, because it doesn't come up in our group. We have had Asian members, but it's not a common thing for us. Wilson, you have your hand up. Is there something you were wanting to say?
Yeah, in terms of what you and Valencia are both saying, and you've already said it, but I said at the beginning, we're going to be repeating things over and over because that's just how human beings learn. Everything with care, and we're having deep conversations. They're going to be painful, and even just be careful. even be aware of respecting that, right? And so when you go into it, um, if there's when there's the appropriate time, everything doesn't have to be direct, and I will just say we had an incident before where I said, and it is a part of the touchstones, we are never trying to kill each other, either with an ouch or with a whoops. So make sure to understand that it's about the space to hear each other. That's all.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Wilson.
You're
And
welcome.
so what I think one of the things that we wanted to make sure you all walked away with is sort of how, so obviously ouch and whoops, we have the language to open a conversation, but we wanted to share just by way of lessons learned some things that we've learned as we're continuing to find our rhythm. Because one of the things that we realize is that not every ouch is the same, not, and it's not one size fits all. We do a lot of processing together after every meeting, about a week after every meeting. We have a debrief with just the steering committee, and we talk about what came up. If there is an ouch, we talk about how are we going to address it, either between the meetings, either with personal outreach or talking about like, who has a relationship, who wants to bring it up, how are we going to address it with the group, understanding all the dynamics. So with that said, we wanted to just share a couple things that we kind of frame as how to respond and not just react. Because if we're in that react mode, we're really still in that trauma space. But if we're in that response, we're more strategic and we can partner to move forward. So Marion and I are going to kind of tag team this one. So a couple things that were already brought up in Marion's story is about getting more comfortable with discomfort. So I have never raised an ouch or we've never processed an ouch that I felt 100% confident or comfortable with, but I know that like working out, the more I do it, the more confidence I got with it. So I do think that some of this is more art than science. And some of this requires us to be grounded. So Marion, is there anything you would add or like share with how to notice sort of when you're getting activated and how to do some of this work with like slowing down, breathing, or other grounding practices?
Yeah, so getting activated is a very physical thing. And it usually means the energy is going up instead of down. We feel ungrounded. We can feel spacey. Our our face gets flushed. The energy might feel like pressure in the top of our head. We may feel shaky. So the best thing I think is to start by being in the body. Like you're getting information externally, but just turn inward. Slow down the breath, slow down the exhale in particular, because that tells your nervous system that you're safe, that you can relax. Relax the pelvic floor, let it settle, and just be with whatever's happening in your body. Don't try to outrun it. Don't try to make it stop. It's a physical thing that needs to happen, like a shaking out of fear. So, and the other thing I would say is just sit. The desire is to respond, defend, get out, deflect, make it their fault. It's not what I meant. Like all these different things are want to come out of your mouth. Just take a deep breath, feel the shaking, feel the fear, cry if you need to, like whatever is coming up without trying to stop what's being said to you. Like just let that land. Because as we said, it's not about, I meant to say something harmful. It's that this person feels an effect from what you said that they want you to hear. Valencia?
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Marion. And I think it's with anything that we're approaching, this work can be challenging and we want to just be open-minded to receive feedback, right? So if anybody is approaching this work or being in circle and understanding that we are growth-minded, we're going to be learning, we're going to learning new perspective. If we have that growth mindset, it might help us be in a position to receive the feedback with grace. One of the things that is important, because oftentimes if someone is not in a space to receive feedback or they're too flooded to hear the feedback, they may get defensive. And so one tool we wanted to offer is this acronym called DARVO. And so it is an acronym that pairs with the image that's listed on the right of the screen. The D stands for deny the behavior. So someone would, as Marion was saying in her example, I didn't say that, I didn't mean that, I'm a good person, I have Black friends, any of that denial. And then the next is A, which is attack the individual. So why are you calling me out? You should be calling me in. Then they reposition themselves as the victim. So the RVO is a sequence of reverse the roles of victim and offender. In a moment, we'll show a clip, and the hope is that you can sort of see Darvo sort of play out. Having this language is helpful because Darvo, what the Darvo acronym does is it helps us see the sequence and not get distracted by it. So what we should do instead is really focus on trying to acknowledge the harm. If you're the recipient, saying thank you or offering humility to say, thank you for bringing that to my attention. And then the whoops side of ouch and whoops can come forward to say, my bad. Thank you for the feedback. My bad. I'll try to do better. We do recommend
And I want to,
self-care. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Mary.
I was just going to say again, to not beat yourself up if you go into this kind of defensive mode, because, we're designed to try to protect ourselves. And that impulse is really strong, and it's happening from a reactive place. It's not happening from our calm, centered place. So if you do get defensive and you do, you feel that, it's like, okay, and, breathe, ground. And I would add that it's, afterwards is super important. Talk to a trusted friend who's not going to tell them they were wrong, but who can really be with you. And I can't emphasize this enough. Come back to the next meeting, because after you've had that experience, it's so easy to feel outside and feel like I'm a bad person, or they don't like me, or I did too much wrong. And it's so important in these moments to come back into the circle and to feel the love and feel the connection and realize that this was about a behavior, not a person. And it's not even about your behavior, it's about a cultural, we're uncovering cultural things that are causing harm. And if we can't do it in this space, where are we going to do it? That's the beauty of this group to me, is that we can have these kinds of understandings. I didn't have a clue. I was one of those people who said, I don't want to say the wrong thing, so I just won't talk. Back to you, Valencia.
Yeah, thanks, Marian. And coming back to the table, and that's Wilson usually reads the last touchstone in all of our meetings, and he does put that emphasizes that like coming to the table is the first step. Staying at the table, coming back is the work. And so obviously we've built a relationship with each other and with our members, but as Marian said, coming back is critical. So Mista, I know that you said you wanted to speak. What I'll do is I'll tee up this video, we'll watch it together, and then we'll have some breakouts. So let me go ahead and tee that up, and then we'll give an opportunity for folks to start to react to some of the things that we've shared. So as Marian mentioned, we did do a recorded session, and so the full session is available on YouTube. And I'll drop a link in a moment before we go into breakouts. But what we want you to do when we show the video is to think about the roles that you might see. And with any ouch and whoop situation, you have, the person who is getting that feedback. They may feel like, okay, a sense of fear. What happens if I'm called out? If there's somebody who's bringing up the ouch, they may feel like, okay, what can I do? What should I say? They might be feeling a specific impact, a more direct impact. But oftentimes the folks in the best position to do something are what we call the bystanders, or everybody else that's witnessing it, because they're not really in the main character roles of the recipient or the person who's raising the ouch. And so think about that, sort of like what's happening for the person who is getting ouched on or getting called in for the ouch, who is raising the ouch, everyone who might be witnessing. And then for for folks who facilitate, so even though in the circle we're supposed to be all on equal footing, we have found that folks still have heightened expectations for folks in the circle keeper position, or in our case, the steering committee position. So we do think that there could be an added expectation on the facilitator. And so when I show the video, I want you to be thinking about all of these four roles, and then we'll shift into breakouts to start to talk about this a little bit more. So bear with me. Thumbs up, virtual or actual, if you can see the video now. I think we can. Yes. Okay. Keep your thumbs up if you can hear.
Hi, Allison. How are you?
I'm good. You?
I'm good. I was just looking at our Facebook group. Lots of good conversation on there lately.
Yes, and I especially like the post that Renee shared. I'm sorry she's not here because I wanted to compliment her on it.
Hi, Wilson and Valencia. We were just talking about Renee's Facebook post. We're just getting started. We'll wait a few more minutes for more people to show up.
Yes, I was just praising her post. It really made me pause and reflect deeply. She's so articulate and clear. I'm very impressed.
You sound surprised, Allison. I don't know why, though. Don't you know that she studied journalism in college? That sounds like a microaggression to me.
What? I meant it as a compliment. I mean, Renee's a really good writer. I just wanted to share that it impressed me. Why do you always make things about race? And now I just feel attacked.
You know what, Allison? You're only saying that because she's Black and she doesn't fit the stereotype of an uneducated Black woman. That's typical Karen behavior.
Whoa, Valencia, I do not appreciate being called out. You are supposed to call in, not call out. Plus, I'm not a racist. I loved her article. It was so articulate. And I'm not sure you can even call an ouch for Renee when she isn't even here.
Okay, everyone, let's settle down. It seems like everyone's here, so why don't we go ahead and get started with our touchstones?
No. We need to address this. Allison, did you realize what you said could be seen as a microaggression? You're not hearing Valencia and what she's saying.
I still don't think I did anything. I would never hurt Renee's feelings or say anything that would upset her. She's my friend. I thought you were my friend too, Valencia. I don't know why you're so upset and making this such a big deal. It has nothing to do with you.
Okay, it's getting late. We have a lot to cover today. Let's get back to the meeting. We can talk about this later.
We need to address this ouch. And Allison, do you know why this was an ouch? Let's just talk about this and stay at the table.
Look, why don't you and Allison talk about this offline with Valencia so we can get back on track as a meeting?
This is the problem with you liberal Facebook people. You think you know it all from your books, but you don't. And this is why this is exhausting. First of all, Allison, you should be grateful. And what do you mean by articulate? Second, it doesn't matter that you have one or even two Black friends. Third, this is why I don't like coming to these meetings. You guys will read, but you won't do the work. You expect me to do it for you, and I am exhausted.
Allison, I know this is hard. I know that you might feel targeted and on the spot right now, but this is the way that we have to work through things. Allison?
I just don't know if I can stay. I feel attacked and I'm a good person. I don't know.
Allison, we're not attacking you. We're acknowledging what happened and we're asking you to do the same thing. That's all. Remember, this is hard stuff.
Okay. So I'm going to turn it over to Wilson to help us get and tee up our breakout rooms.
Before we do the breakout, can I talk? Is that
There's
okay?
an echo here.
There's an echo.
I just cut off the I was on two things and I had to get on this because I can't control anything on my phone. And before you go into the breakouts, I just wanted to say, first of all, that of all of the touchstones, this was the one that I think we all really needed to get explained about. Secondly, you said something earlier that I did not know. I didn't even think that, white people might feel uncomfortable speaking in mixed company. And that was a revelation to me. And I thank you for that. That's what I think it makes me, because I've said ouch at any time I feel ouch, I say it in my group. But then now I'm worrying that because I say ouch, is that stopping people from speaking? And when they do that, then there's no opportunity for us to learn from one another. So I really appreciate this particular topic. That I'm complete.
Okay, thank you, Mister.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to move into this breakout discussion, and carry in with you a couple of things. Probably the thing that was listed really, 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 one of the most important thing is for us all to get comfortable with our discomfort. That's essential. And just learning what that is. Can you bring back up the slide, Valencia? Because it's disappeared for me. There we go. All right, so we say in your breakout room when we send you there, take about a minute each to share in the circle. So I don't know how many people we have and how many groups we're going to have to put people in, but if we have 5 people or 6 people or 7 people, that means each person gets a chance to speak for a minute. And we will need somebody in the room to help time, so that each person gets that minute. And if you haven't experienced or been in that framework before, it's just that each person gets a minute to talk from their space without interruption, questions, or anything happening. It is their moment, that minute. And then we move to the next person to do that. Realize as you're sharing in your minute what you observed through the video and all of talking about oops and ouch and the touchstones up until this point. But particularly here, the whoops and the ouch. Have you had a moment like this before? Have you experienced something like this before? And then which role do you identify with more? Which role challenged you the most? If being a bystander, being the person who felt the ouch, or the person who created the ouch? Do that, have that going on for you as you're answering the question. And then we'll return and invite 2 or 3 groups to share in the big group about what you discussed. So each person go around. Get your minute in first, and then after that minute, right, write your questions down, because you're probably going to be ignited by something that somebody says. But let them say that so that each person actually gets a chance to share their experience, and then do what we call popcorn. You can ask questions of each other, share comments around that in the room. We allotted 10 minutes for this. How large are our rooms going to be?
I'm going to make them a little bit smaller so that way we can have a little bit less, like spend a little less time. So let's go closer to 5 to 7 minutes. Yeah, so it'll be 3 or 4 people in the room.
Okay, that's great.
And
so if there
are you
3 or 4
almost
people,
ready?
Yeah, I'm ready to go when you
ready.
all are.
Okay, we should get it going.
Okay, thanks.
All right, so all of you should be getting an invitation. So in order to move to the room, you need to click the blue button that says join.
And take note of your room number in case you get kicked out. We can get you back in.
Valencia, I'm not going to go to a room.
Yes, that's totally fine.
Go to your room.
I'm struggling to breathe, so talking's hard.
Oh. Didn't you just have COVID?
Oh my God, yes. This is
And
not
now
COVID.
you've got something else?
It's just a cold.
Oh.
I'm just like, yeah. That's okay. It's great. You have some people who have not made it into their rooms yet.
Yeah, I'm going through and okay. All right, Lenny, if you can hear me, good to see you. Go ahead and click your blue button if you plan to join.
Do you want me to pause the recording?
Yes.
Okay, but then you've got to remind me to start the recording. Pause.
So what happened to Wilson and
Screen?
I'm Allison Thomas. We're all part of the steering committee of the Southern California, with the
we
Pasadena.
can hear that. There we go.
Yeah, we could hear you in our breakout
slide,
room. It was really weird.
I just wanted to, before we kind of give you the
Something's going on.
You could
Yeah,
hear
our
that playing in the breakout room?
Dr. El Tomei, I think you are playing a video. So I just put you on mute. So I just wanted to let you know. We could hear, so.
I think this whole thing should have been on the oops
Yeah.
thing.
Whoops.
All right, welcome back, folks.
Welcome back.
All right, so and we want to make sure that we have plenty of time for questions. And so I'm gonna have Wilson, I think we have time to process maybe 2 groups, and then we can get back into the slides. Okay, you want to help process that?
If you bring the slide up for me, I can't remember anything because you know I'm 99 years old.
Yeah.
If everybody could please mute.
Yeah.
Who's not
Because we're
actively
getting
talking.
echoes otherwise. All right. Okay, so we'll return to big group. Is this we stay here to discuss? Okay. I don't see everybody, so let me change my view so I can see gallery here. Great. I want to see a group. Raise your hand if you would like to share some experience from your group, some things that you learned, some things that were talked about from your group, or a question that you had from your group. I don't see hands. Oh, I saw one. Help me, ladies, to see
That's
hands.
Sharon.
Is it Sharon?
Yeah, I'm raising my hand because nobody else is. So I really
I think
want other
Mr. did
people.
after you, but go ahead.
Mr.
I think we can take off the video.
Yeah, you can take it
slide.
off now, Valencia. I'm sorry.
Let Ella
So
go before me.
Okay, go, Ella.
Is that like go Ella? Go Ella?
It's like go, Ella.
Go, Ella.
We're gonna
Go,
just
Ella.
because we're like pinched
Okay,
for time, I'm gonna give you a minute.
Okay, a minute.
On these. Yeah.
All right, a minute. Maura, Tom, myself. All right, so we observed that there could have been an issue with time. We observed that potentially the non-leader person was about sweeping it under the rug. Actually, the comment was that it seemed that the white people were interested to sweep it under the rug, but the black people wanted to deal with it. The word articulate came up, and frankly, it came up in a way that I agreed with Valencia in the that it was offensive to a black person, and Maura had a story where her father would often use that word, and she approached him with it being somewhat racist, and he goes, "Well, no, I do that all the time," and then when Tom got on, he said you could almost see her, meaning Allison, making the remark about being articulate before she even started. And so I think for us collectively, there is a way that is the way we were raised that has everything to do with how we process something. One person could take it as, oh, that was very nice of you to say, or they're thinking that, oh, they recognize that I, am articulate and, blah, blah, blah. And and I say that blah, blah, blah for a reason because, you know, and then the other was just getting called out for it, but not, it was just the way they were raised.
Okay, pause for me because we went over the 1 minute and I gave
Sorry.
some grace.
Okay, sorry.
So
Try my best to do a minute, I swear.
there's just like a lot. I know that there's going to be a lot, and we don't have, we have just the time that we have. Um, oh my goodness. Valencia, Sharon, how do we want to respond in the limited amount of time that we have with these the questions that
Yeah,
come
so
up?
I think so I do think that we'll have more time to process in Q&A. So
Okay.
what I did do is if there's I imagine there's lots of good conversation. So I invite you to drop that in the chat, and as it's coming in, we can thematize it and kind of respond to it. So Ella, thank you so much for being the brave soul to speak. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Darren, do you want to process
Yeah,
your things real quick?
I just want to just dovetail. We are going to have an opportunity for others to weigh in as we get deeper into this. But one thing that came out was that at least one chapter doesn't have an ouches or a whoops in their touchstones. So yeah, I was surprised.
Well, let me
touchstones.
And I wanted to say we're
interesting.
covering, oh, sorry.
Well, so something just happened for me. What you just said, Sharon, I'm unclear about. So we should do this later in the question and answers thing. Like there should only be one set of touchstones. They're coming to the table touchstones. So it may be that they're not using the touchstones, which is something
No, they're using
that's a different thing.
They're using them, but they say they don't have oohs and out.
I think that there are versions, Wilson. And
really?
Yeah, and depending on where it's downloaded from and whatever, yeah. But we can do a sweep of the website and make sure that it's that we have up to date one everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's a good call out.
I just want to do a time check. We are trying to be finished by 5:30.
Yeah.
So we may
have
be
15
done with
minutes.
this part, and we may not get to do Sharon's slide or Wilson's slide and just go into Q&A at this point. Because we're down to our last
I wonder if
10
we should
minutes.
do that. Yeah, so why don't we just do that?
I think that's totally fine.
Yeah, let's do
because
that.
my slide is about that as well. Here's one other comment that I want to make that's already been made, but I want to repeat it on purpose. Is we have a framework and we're going to work with Giovanni. We should have the touchstones are supposed to be the way that we do deep conversation and the guideline for that. So it should be consistent. And so we're going to work with Dr. Giovanni to make sure that that happens. But I use this word on purpose, a framework, and the way that we use them is not mandatory for everybody else in the world to do. At the same time, there's foundational information there that is important, right? And that is core to the 4 pillars. So we have, there's a balance that's happening there. And as we are talking to you about how it supported and helped us and is helping us, we want you to take from that how it can help your group, but we are in no way saying this is the way that it has to be, so that we don't want to get an email from Dr. Giovanni saying this group said that you said this, right? Our overall goal is to talk about the importance of the framework and how it can help us in terms of doing the work that we're doing. Okay.
And it's so foundational to how we run our meetings to have this as kind of the framework. I want to I want to answer one of the questions that's in the chat. Linda asked, do you let the person who's being told, ouch, to say something? And what I would say to that, this is not a hard rule, but what I would say to that is invite them to not talk until they've had time to settle and take it in. Otherwise, it turns into a dialogue or an argument or something else. I would say open it to the room, but the person who's been ousted is flooded with whatever they're feeling. And that's not the time to respond. You know, that they should have perhaps some time with someone outside first to really bring them down and make sure that they've had a chance to process, because what's going to come out of their mouth is mostly probably going to be defensiveness. And that's not the point of out troops. The point is to hear something that we wouldn't hear otherwise and to be able to take that in. And that takes a minute.
There was
Thanks
another
for the
question. So I see hands from Mista and Ella. I do want to go back to a question that was raised earlier. I think, was it Audrey? I'm just trying to find the
One
question.
about white fragility.
Yes, one about white fragility in terms of the ouch being basically a white fragility response. If I'm saying that wrong, please come off mute and correct me. So I appreciate that you're bringing that up. So I want to first just call it, like, explain what white fragility is in case folks are unfamiliar. So Robin DiAngelo's book, so-called book, White Fragility, talks about white fragility as like a theory and a sequence of events that happen. So when I was talking about Darvo, white fragility is this idea that white folks have not been practiced in getting racial awareness brought to their attention. And so then what happens is that they're fragile and cannot respond. So then they turn, they get defensive, they shut down, they use tears, they become the victim. Like, there's a whole sequence. So I'm not doing the whole book justice. I highly recommend that you get it and read it. But essentially, when that sequence comes up, absolutely right, that experience then sort of takes all the air out of the room. And then we don't have space to talk about what happened or center the person who was harmed or the harm that occurred and things like that. So absolutely, that sequence is how it shows up. One of the things that became apparent to us when we started down this road of learning about ouch and whoops is that we all needed more collective literacy around the ways that white supremacy shows up. So what we did was we went on like a year-long journey, and every meeting we took one or two principles of white fragility culture and we studied and we talked about it and we paired it with a touchstone. And so I will just say, like, all of the things that we're sharing today is multiple years of working together as a steering committee, and Allison was part of that, and there's other parts of the group that worked through that. And so we're, as Marion mentioned, we're still learning. This is not easy stuff, and the touchstones we have found to be really elastic to help us through that process.
I would just also say, I want to be clear that we crafted purposely that scene, right? So just like be aware of it, like that we chose articulate on purpose because there is a resonance with that. It doesn't mean it's a word. It doesn't mean that every time somebody uses the word articulate that they're using it as a slight. However, there is an energy, and let's be honest with each other, right? There is a way in which that word can come out from someone, particularly if you're talking to, because we all know the history, most of us do if we don't, if not all, of using that word as a shock when talking about somebody African American. And so we purposely chose that. If a person is not using it in that way, the chances are the other person is going to get that. And if they're not using it in that way, in this particular setting, in this particular group, then, as was already said, the opportunity to just hear what the other person was feeling is there. And there's not a need to be defensive because that's not how you meant it, but you can hear what it did to the other person. Oh,
Cheryl,
some
you
other
have your hand
question?
up. Yeah.
Yes, but Cheryl Good had her hand up before I had mine. So Cheryl Good, if you'd like to go first.
Hello, thank you. So a couple of things. You know, when Allison first spoke, I did not hear her say articulate in the beginning. And so, and in many of the groups, matter of fact, none of the groups that I have facilitated have everyone's aware of the ouch and the oops because it is said in the beginning, but they've not used it in not one of them that we've had. But here's my thought. Like I said, I did not hear her say articulate. I do know that that is like a trigger. Um, but we do have to be careful because I mean, what do we say? We said that there's no fixing. True, if somebody says something that's offensive, we want to acknowledge that, but we have to remember no fixing. We have to remember when harm is not intended. We have to remember that all of the things that we say in the beginning is that we're not judgmental, that we trust that you come here with a certain heart. So when I hear something that sounds a little off keel. For instance, if somebody had said judgmental, my thing would have been to jump in and say, ah, I hear what you just said. You know, I have often used that in the past too. Before I learned that, I always try to pull it back on me so that the person um is not necessarily to make it less likely that they feel a certain way. There you go.
That's beautiful, Cheryl. Yeah, when we can do it gently and kindly, I say go for it. You know, we just don't want to let it go by unaddressed.
So,
but there's finesse.
So I
Yeah,
just wanted
Sharon.
to point out that all of us are, over 60 of us, are deeply engaged in conversation right now. And it's because of the touchstones. I think this is a demonstration of what the touchstones can unleash. Someone in the chat asked a question, are white people afraid to speak up out of fear of just speaking in this mixed group? Or are they not recognizing the offense? And I just wanted to answer without having to type it out. I think that both can be true. And the touch tones give us an opportunity to explain why was this particular statement offensive. And the word articulate, the word itself is not offensive. It's the surprise. It's being surprised that this person is articulate.
Yeah.
And we're coming to the end of our meeting. Ella, you have your hand up if you have a quick.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the way it falls on a person is unique to that person. Because if you see it as a compliment, because you tried so hard as a Black person to be, quote, accepted and as intelligent, and you know what I'm saying. So it really it can be, it's one slap on one face, one on the other. The Black person tells the other Black person, oh, you think you're that. And the white person is telling the Black person, oh, you're articulate. It just depends on how it falls. The experience.
That's a good point.
So
and
we are
I think
at
that's the
5
part of the
minutes.
point of all. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. We are at 5 minutes, and we are at that point supposed to turn it back over to Dr. Giovanni to do a close out. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, this has been amazing for us to have an opportunity as a national organization to come together and align on something, and to have 60 people on the call doing that, representing all of our different chapters, is really amazing. And we didn't expect to get to the end of the road today, right? That's one of
And
the
we hope
touchstones.
we've
It's the one.
inspired you to go deeper into these conversations. I get the feeling it's pumping you all up into wanting to go deeper. So that was our goal.
Yeah. But Dr. Giovanni.
Thank you so much, Pasadena group. Can we please just give them a round of applause or come off mute so they can hear your voices? Cheer them on. Thank you so much.
Hey, great work.
That was
Thank
great. It
you.
was perfect.
Awesome.
Good to see
Really
you.
good.
It was very good.
Yay. Thank
Valencia
you.
and
Thank you. Thank
Wilson.
you.
Beautiful.
Yes,
And
it was
before we
great.
go,
Thank
I would
you.
just like to say, I would just like to highlight, because this is something that's coming up again and again and again with some of our local group leaders and hence, and by extension, our local groups. I really just want to highlight the dedication and deliberateness of our Pasadena Steering Committee. When Valencia mentioned that they worked with the Touchstones for an entire year. Was it just amongst the steering committee or the whole group?
The whole group.
Oh, just the Touchstones, y'all. Right. And so I want to just dispel the notion that some of us are holding, and we may not even be aware that we're holding, that this like showing up is the end of the journey, that showing up is enough, that checking the box that I went to coming to the table, like we actually have to dig in and do the work. And so their commitment to understanding the ways in which we all, each and every one of us, no matter what we look like or what bodies we're in, have internalized whiteness and the harms that we cause ourselves and others is really, really it's their dedication to studying that so that they can dismantle it, I think is actually very impressive. And so I want to just say I appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart. And they don't know this, but I feel like we need to offer a second Touchstone training like in some months as part of this. But maybe you all, if you all have questions, please do email me, or if you have comments, email me. I will send out the recording, and I will also send out a brief survey just to get your thoughts and reflections. Tomorrow. It's going to also there's going to also be a newsletter that comes out tomorrow. So you're going to get 2 emails from me tomorrow, but only tomorrow. And oh, great. Valencia dropped her email, socalcttt@gmail.com. So that's the Pasadena group's email. And I think the upcoming dates that I want to point out to you are the 14th and the 28th of October, which are our, that's very difficult to say, office hours for the Year of Liberation and for the Freedom Walk 2026. And also November 12th, we will have our first walk talk, where we'll be highlighting the story of one of our Coming to the Table members whose family was freed or freed themselves on the Underground Railroad and then went back and freed other folks. So stay tuned. All of it's coming in emails and calendars. There have been many emails, y'all. Please read them. I don't send fluff. If I'm sending it, I really want you to read it. I think that's it. I think that's all we got.
Thank you so much. That's all we got. Thank you. Go away and have an amazingly wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you, family.
Great session. Thank you, y'all.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Take care now.
Absolutely.
Good to see you.
I miss
Love you
you
guys.
guys.
Love everyone.
Oh my
Thank
gosh.
you.
Bye, Emmy.
Bye, Siri.
Hey,
Bye.
John and Connie. Thanks for getting on.
Valencia,
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, Lenny.
Hi, Ann.
Bye, Lenny. Bye,
Bye.
Ella.
Oh,
Bye,
bye.
Siri.
Bye, Valencia. So good to see you again.
Good to see you too. I'll send you
Bye,
a text.
Hyatt. Yeah.
Evidently.
Wow. I hit the ground running. Bye-bye now. Love you guys. Be safe.
Bye-bye.
Be safe.
Bye-bye.
Oh, please be safe.
Be all safe. No, Ella was there. Yes.
Okay, I put him in the waiting room.
Okay. Do you want to stop